Hi, I'm John Edlund, professor in the English and Foreign Languages Department at Cal Poly Pomona. More than 10 years ago, I was asked by the Chancellor's Office of the California State University to chair a task force charged with creating a new expository reading and writing course for 12th grade. This course, called ERWC for short, is now taught in high schools across the state. Since we began doing professional learning in 2004, more than 9,656 educators have participated in ERWC workshops. Over that time, the course has been revised several times, and modules incorporating ERWC strategies have been written for 7th through 11th grade. However, through all of those changes, the basic design and flow of an ERWC module has remained the same. As you become familiar with the ERWC materials, you will see that each module is built on the same assignment template. You will work first with an outline of that template, and then with a complete document, which can be used to design your own modules. In this video, I will introduce the basic concepts that went into the design of the template and subsequently into all ERWC modules. First, purpose. What's the purpose of the assignment? What will students learn? Of course, we want students to be engaged with the issues and topics of the text they are reading. Such engagement is essential for learning. However, we also want them to acquire skills such as identifying rhetorical strategies and methods of persuasion, quoting, paraphrasing, and documenting sources, constructing effective arguments, etc. This means that the module is balanced between creating and sustaining engagement with the issues and developing specific skills and abilities. Texts. What text or texts will your students read or view? Any issue that becomes the focus of an ERWC module must have at least two sides that can be supported by reasonable people, and preferably more. Texts should be on topics interesting to students, contain interesting arguments and rhetorical strategies, and present an appropriate level of difficulty. We want students to be able to use the texts to inspire thinking, demonstrate rhetorical strategies, and provide information and evidence for their own arguments. A good module starts with the right issues and the right texts. Pre-reading. What will your students do before reading that will prepare them for the words, topics, issues, and arguments of the texts? I used to do workshops for faculty at Cal Poly Pomona in assigning and responding to student writing. I often started the workshop by asking faculty to list their most common complaints about students. The top two were almost always, they don't read the material until after the discussion, and they can read textbooks, but not ordinary books. Because of my work with the ERWC, I knew that the students were telling us something with that first behavior. They didn't like to read complex material cold. They wanted to know what was important and what the professor wanted them to attend to. We can help them with that by giving them some pre-reading strategies. The second problem is more complicated. Textbook publishers know a lot about reading theory. They provide lots of scaffolding and different ways to interact with the text, including glossaries, information boxes, summaries, and sidebar discussions. Students learn to rely on these features. What we need to do is help students internalize these strategies so that they can create their own path through an ordinary text. The best way to do this is to provide lots of scaffolding at first and then gradually remove it, what is called gradual release of responsibility. This is a feature of ERWC. Reading. What will your students look for and attend to while reading the texts? How will they annotate the texts? Fluent readers probably just want to read the text. We don't want to get in their way. Less fluent readers need more guidance about what they are reading, why they are reading, and what they are looking for. All students need to learn to mark and annotate texts to use for particular purposes. ERWC modules often provide lists of questions that can be used either as reading guides or post-reading discussion questions. Students can make marginal notations where they find answers to these questions. Post-reading. What activities will students do after reading that will help them think critically about the ideas and arguments of the texts? In ERWC, students never read a text once. They scan it in pre-reading, read it for understanding, and then read it with a critical eye. This is sometimes called reading with the grain and then against the grain, or playing the believing game and then the disbelieving game. In the post-reading section of the assignment template, you will find teaching strategies that help students develop a critical stance toward the texts. Students are not just reading texts, they are working with them and using them. Connecting. How will students use the ideas, information, and words of the texts in their own writing? The Connecting Reading to Writing section of the template introduces the writing assignment and contains strategies for helping students reread the texts for use in their own writing. They are shifting from the audience position to the author position. They look at their previous annotations, perhaps make new ones, think about what kind of response they want to make, and what they want to quote or paraphrase from the texts. Writing. What kind of writing will your students do in response to the text? ERWC modules provide many different types of writing prompts, including timed essays, letters, and research papers. The assignments are designed to be a natural outgrowth of the reading, annotating, discussing, and thinking that has gone before. If the module has gone well, the student should be primed to write at this point, even eager. Revising. What kind of feedback will the students get and from whom? ERWC treats students as potential authors. In the revision stage of the process, students apply some of the same analytical strategies that they used in responding to the texts in the module to their own writing and the writing of their peers. Peer feedback is helpful, but they also need feedback from the teacher before creating the final draft. It is best to put more effort into feedback on a rough draft that can be used by the student as a guide to revision than on a final draft. Evaluation. How will you evaluate the final draft? Some modules provide specific grading rubrics for scoring essays. For others, you can use the English placement test rubric that is provided, or design your own. The evaluation of the essays or other papers should be consistent with the original purpose of the module, so that you have come full circle from purpose to final product. On the journey toward the final product, each student has experienced numerous reading and writing activities, discussions, and moments of insight, all focused on this goal. The ERWC process. This video was a short exploration of the basic stages in the ERWC module. Some modules take students through this process with a single text, while others cycle through parts of the process with multiple texts before they arrive at the writing assignments. Some modules have a spiral design that cycles through the whole process multiple times, adding a new layer of complexity each time. However, the basic pattern is the same in each. A pre-reading taste before they dive in, some guidance about what to attend to while reading, some critical questions and activities after they read, a writing prompt that connects the readings to the writing task, and a composing and revising process that leads to the best finished product they can produce. As you participate in the ERWC Professional Learning Program, you will explore the full ERWC assignment template, which contains lots of specific strategies for implementing the pedagogical moves I have discussed in this short introduction. You will discuss selected modules from the ERWC course and learn about the theory and research that supports ERWC methods. I hope that this short overview has helped you understand what ERWC is and how it works, and that you will find the subsequent workshop sessions helpful in your teaching. I know that working with CSU faculty and high school teachers on ERWC materials for the past 10 years has had an immense influence on my own teaching and on the success of my students. I hope you have a similar experience. Thanks for watching.